will come to order. Please rise and join us in a prayer followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for all the gifts you have bestowed upon us, but we are especially grateful for the opportunity to serve the students of the Western Wayne District. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Hollister,
Here?
Mr. Olsemer,
Here.
Mr. Gershi,
Here.
Mr. Gadenzi,
Present.
Mr. Gogolski,
Here.
Mrs. Fiorella. Here. Mr. Lindo,
Here.
Mr. McDonough,
He is excused.
Mrs. Pliss. Here. Mr. Adams,
Here.
Dr. Barrett,
Here.
Ms. Emmett is here. Mr. Blum,
Here.
Mrs. Donahue,
Excused.
Ms. Felisky. Here. Mrs. Miller. Here. Mr. Gogorski,
Here.
Mrs. Watson. Here. Mrs. La Rosa. Here. Mrs. Price. Here. Mrs. Gregory,
Excused.
Mrs. Liptak,
Excused.
Mr. Seaman.
Excused.
Mr. President, you have 8 board members present.
Thank you. We do have reported earlier this evening the Western Wayne Education Association ratified the proposed contract. So based on that, do we have a motion for number 5?
I recommend that the Board of Education approve the tentative collective bargaining agreement with the Western Wayne Education Association for the 2014 through 2020 year, and that the Board President and Secretary be authorized and directed to sign the agreement on behalf of the district.
I will second the motion. This motion has been made and seconded. I would like to have a roll call vote on this, please.
Mr. Hollister,
Yes. I'm sorry. Any questions or comments? I jumped the gun. It was such a quick moving night. Are there any questions or comments from the board?
I have some comments, Mr. President. In going through this document that I received this morning at 10:11 a.m., I have many concerns with this document in its entirety. I'm going to outline that for you right now, if you would bear with me, and just bear the sound of my voice for a few moments, please. First and foremost, after Mr. Adams gave a great presentation tonight about the tentative agreement, and it was the same, the board got to see it as well. The savings when it comes to healthcare compared to when the retirement incentive was lapsed is very, very small, $156,000 a year. And every dollar counts, we all know this. But I believe that we don't go far enough in asking when it comes to healthcare, which we know is going to rise every single year by rates that we can't control. And my point and my position has always been contributions to premiums. It is my personal take, and that is my belief. And that's one of the reasons I will vote no this evening. Another reason that I will vote no is that we are now guaranteeing in writing, not due to necessity based for our children, for the amount of children, and for their participation in athletic programs, 4 new assistant coaching positions. Girls basketball, football, track, etc. I believe these positions should not be contractually obligated. I believe at an at-need basis, the board working with these teams can come to a complete and specific agreement in which they'll be able to service the children as they are needed. Another one that I can't get my head around if we're going to continue to do so is the winter and when we combine the winter cheerleading groups. In the contract, we're still paying 2 head coaching salaries. Now, if we were going to continue that, in the contract, I believe, in my personal opinion, that there should be a head coaching salary and an assistant coach salary, not 2 head coach salaries, if the split squad were to maintain. Another thing was at sporting events, there is a new added stage crew apparatus, and I would just like some clarification if someone could answer me on that. What stage crew, is that gonna be custodial, taking care of it? I'm sure it's not custodial, because that would be in a different contract. If we could just have some clarification on what this new stage crew item is. It's in the contract, there's a scorekeeper, ticket attendant,
It's actually from an MOU from the previous contract.
oh, that's one of the MOUs?
Yeah, and it is for, when they're doing the auditorium lights and different things on stage, whether it be for musical or productions, it's not just sports related.
It's not just sports related. Okay,
No.
so
It's
when I.
just kind of on that scale, but it
does,
is
so
not
I hope
sports
they understand why I had
Sure.
a question about that,
But
because
it
I thought
is-
that was pertaining to athletic, because it was broke down pretty well when it comes to the specificity of our events that we hold for different extracurricular activities inside the district. One thing, again, that we have a lot of questions on, and I get this from you know, not common people, but the people when they ask about posting of positions, is that we're contractually obligated to post for only 5 days. And in my personal opinion, again, I don't believe sometimes 5 days is enough. And I know that that is specifically language-wise for buildings, inside of buildings. But at the same time, I'm thinking to myself, well, if we put a 7-day period on it and it differs from what's on the website than is on the building, and we pull it 5 days and then it's still on the website for 2 days, we're gonna come to, you know, a disagreement there on why it's not advertised the proper way. So that's another concern that I have with the contract. Another thing that I have a concern with is the increase in the payout for sick days from $60 to $85. And I also have a question about an internal question of why I'm voting no this evening, about the cap that rises to 200 sick days in the buyout. And it's something that I don't personally agree with. And one of the things that I've been consistent with throughout the last few board meetings is the mentor teacher program that we inside the Western Wayne School District decide to go ahead and designate that is not state required for new educators in their first year. We realize that we do things here at Western Wayne a certain way, and I understand the rationale behind it, but it is something that I do not agree with, and I hence cannot support. And then my last question in this, and I'm done talking after this, I promise, is the Western Wayne course instructor. Can you elaborate on what that is and the necessity for why it's contractually negotiated?
It's the course instructor is the
Course Oh, I apologize. I had to work on my pronunciation right here. I'm getting a little dry, so. Course. Yeah.
Basically, a group of administrators, teachers, board members, community members get together to outline the professional development of teachers throughout the school.
So does it have anything to do with CPDs and continued professional?
Correct. That's exactly.
And then that has to do also with the increase in pay for committee work to $35 an hour? Correct? Those two work hand in hand?
committee applies to many more things than that.
Yeah, it does, but it
But
is
if,
a part of it.
but if that work is done on an Act 80 day, which a lot of it is, it's not, the committee rate's not paid, it's all paid, obviously, because people are already being paid to be here.
Understood. Understood. And that's all I have. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Any others with questions or comments? Hearing none, we will have a roll call vote at this time. Ms. Emmett, if you would, please.
Mr. Hollister,
Yes.
Mr. Olsemer,
Yes.
Mr. Gershi,
Yes.
Mr. Cadenzi,
No.
Mr. Gugalski,
Yes.
Mrs. Fiorella,
Yes.
Mr. Lindo,
Yes.
Mrs. Pliss.
Yes.
You have 7 yes votes and 1 no. Motion carries.
Thank you, and I do want to thank the association for working with us on this, and I think one of the driving points is what we saw as far as student performance. If you were here for the presentation that Mr. Adams did, at no time did our association back off. They've done a great job, and we really appreciate it. So thank you very much. Yes, sir.
I'm Mr. Greg Butler, President of the WWEA.
I thought you
I
looked
know you're
familiar.
there. When we started these negotiations 26 months ago, our goal as an association was to obtain a contract that was fair, that was reasonable, with keeping in mind the taxpayers, our teachers, and the students, in no particular order, of course. And I'd like to thank the board team, the board as a whole, for their support, their patience. I'd like to thank our teachers for their patience as well. I think we achieved that goal on our end, not only on our side, but also on the board side as well. So we truly appreciate the process. It was a long one, but we've gotten it done, and we truly appreciate where we are at this point. Thank you.
Indeed. And thank you to you and your team. Thank you very much. We have no other agenda items, but do we have anyone from the audience that would care to address the board at this time?
Yes, my husband and I would like to. We have a concern about our daughter, Rachel Roberts. She's a junior. And we believe she was harassed by her track coaches.
Okay, I'm going to ask you to meet with the administration and not make
I
this a
did call.
public matter at this time.
Okay,
Have you set an appointment yet?
I did call twice and did not get a return call from the administrative building.
Okay.
I did talk to the principal,
Okay.
and I'm not getting calls back, and it's very frustrating.
All right, we'll meet with you immediately after this.
That'd be
if you
wonderful.
Stay for a few
Yep.
moments, okay? Is there anyone else? Hearing none, we have no other agenda items. Do any of the board members have any further business at this time? Do we have a motion for adjournment?
I'll make the motion.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. We are adjourned, folks. Thank you very much.